Okay, good morning.
Good morning, Ka.
Your name?
Aarti.
Pardon?
Aarti.
Okay, Aarti. Okay, what are you doing, Aarti?
I'm based in Chennai. I'm a dance teacher. So
Oh,
I
okay.
teach Bharatanatyam children.
Okay, you are a dance teacher.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
And a mother of 2 kids.
Oh, that's nice. Okay. So you are basically a dance teacher.
Yes.
Okay. So today, yeah, we will be doing anatomy and physiology. Okay. For PhD, whatever is required, how much ever is required, only that much we will be covering, not too much in detail or too much in the biological sense. Things which you can relate to with your students and how you can apply it with your students, only that level we will handle. Okay. Yeah. What is your like educate? What have you studied? Background like.
I'm a software engineer. I've done my master's in software engineering.
Okay, not biology student.
No, not biologist.
Okay. So because it's a very basic biology only.
Okay. But
Maybe
yeah, I
my
was very interested in biology. My aim was to get into medicine. Like in those times, the trend was either medicine or engineering. So my preference was medicine, but then I didn't get through.
Okay.
I got engineering.
So till 12th standard you have studied biology?
Yes.
Then you must be knowing,
I
lots
love
you must be knowing.
genetics and all those things.
Okay. So, organ system,
Yes. I mean, the basics, yes.
basics, right? So, can you come up with some obvious organ systems which you can remember?
The digestive system, the excretory system,
Hmm.
respiratory system,
Okay.
circulation system,
Hmm.
neurosystem.
Nervous system, most
Nervous
important.
system,
Okay,
yes.
nervous system, yes. Skeletal, muscular,
Yes.
reproductive,
Yes.
excretory. Okay, there are total 12 systems. I'll share the screen.
Yeah.
Some error is coming. Not able to share it only.
You don't see the icon, the share icon?
I am able to, but can't share your screen. An error has occurred.
What does it say?
Sorry, an error has occurred when screen sharing.
Why should it say like that?
I don't know. It's been so long since I did this Google Meet,
Should you keep changing the screen or something? Or you can send it to me, I will share. But I'll have to go. So I want to know how often you have to change the screen. Let me see
much. Wait, I made it.
if anything else can be done. 1 minute. Do you have a laptop?
You want to send it
I'm
to
not
me?
To share it.
I'm not actually very good at using laptop at all.
No,
laptop is the easiest to share screen more than iPad because you can see the person as well as see the screen.
Or you can also send it to me if you want me to share it.
Yeah.
Because I'll be there through it.
Yeah, tell me your email ID.
Can I put it in the chat?
Put it in the chat box.
Yeah. It's arathi.p@gmail.com. Send it.
ARATHI. Okay, wait. I've sent it to you. Did you get it? I've sent it to you. Please check it, Aarti.
Yeah. I'm checking, but I haven't gotten it yet. Yes.
I didn't actually give any name or anything because I thought I will be using it.
Yeah, that's okay. Uh,
Error only is coming.
Can you see?
Yeah. You'll change the screen?
Yes, sure. Yes.
Okay.
So you can just tell me whenever you want to go to the next slide.
Yeah, the first one we finished. Go to the second one, the nervous system thing. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, nervous system, we have to we divide it into two: central nervous system and peripheral nervous system.
Okay.
And central nervous system, it comprises of brain and spinal cord. Okay. Only brain and spinal cord will come under CNS.
Okay.
And remaining, the rest of the body, the entire nervous system, which connects the entire body with the brain and spinal cord, that is peripheral nervous system. Or from the spinal cord and brain to the entire body, vice versa. So that comes under peripheral nervous system. And central nervous system is basically brain and spinal cord alone. Okay. So first, if we take the central nervous system, we will go to the PNS part later on. Okay. So the central nervous system again. Wait, I'm able to. Okay. So without a diagram or anything, I don't know how I'm going to. Go to the next slide, no?
Yeah. This one?
Yeah, no, next.
Peripheral nervous system.
Yeah. Go to the cerebellum and cerebrum part. Yeah.
This one. Oops.
Yes, this part. Okay. So the thing is, we will broadly divide it into three. The top part is cerebrum, the bottom part is cerebellum, and the end, that is the stem part, is brainstem. That's all we call it as. And what is the function of cerebrum per se? See, cerebrum again, I actually thought of making a diagram and showing it to you, but since I'm not able to share the screen now, okay. Go to the next one. Human brain anatomy. Yeah. Okay. So what happens is cerebrum is again divided into four. No, it is, four parts. Pink is frontal, yellow is parietal, gray is occipital, and temporal lobe. So each lobe is responsible for some or other function, which is directly related to all our human activities and everything. So let us say the cerebrum part. Cerebrum part's frontal lobe is the one which is responsible for movement. Okay. talking, moving, running, dancing, eating, everything. If a child is able to dance well, if the child is able to have good coordination, it is because of the frontal lobe and the nervous system that is working over there. Okay. And the parietal lobe is basically responsible for sensory, pleasure, touch, pain, all those things. So there are kids who are not very comfortable with touching things. They are very sensitive. Can you give me any example? Like, have you come across a child who's very sensitive to touching certain things, or anything like that? Have you come across anybody like that?
Not really, but then just among my kids. My older one is very comfortable giving me a hug and all that. But my younger one is not. He doesn't like to be hugged and kissed and all that.
Even what happens is they don't go to the crowded places and all. They don't like too much of crowd. They don't like people rubbing them or hitting them, all those things. So that is somatosensory area, somatosensory cortex area. So there, those kids are very sensitive. The neural sensitivity is very high. They really don't like touching certain things, or hugging people or touching people, or sometimes they like to do it too much. There are kids who really go on hugging whoever they see or meet or anything. So both are, I won't say good or bad, but yes, this is the reason behind it. Okay. Then this occipital lobe is responsible for vision, what we see. Okay, again, what happens? Have you come across any special child? Have you worked with them?
No.
Oh, okay, so we work with special children. Okay, there are autistic kids who cannot handle too much of light. They become it's very uncomfortable for them. They cannot go to a movie theater. They cannot, that much light, even the flashlight, they feel very uncomfortable. So it is because of this visual cortex area. Okay. And seeing is one thing, but making sense of what they are seeing is another thing. Many a times it happens even with us. Something will be in front of our eyes, but we will be thinking of something else. We won't be noticing it. So that means that visual cortex part of our brain, that particular nerve, we are not. What happened?
Somebody has joined.
Somebody has joined. Okay.
Good morning. Sorry for the late joining. Sorry.
Okay, it's Revati. Yeah.
Sorry.
Hello, Revati.
Joining late.
It's okay, no problem. Hello. You are able to hear?
Yes, Akka, I can see the slide also. I can see some presentation going.
Thanks to Aarti. Thanks to Aarti, my entire this thing is. Now I'm not able to. Let me try. No, I'm not able to. Okay. So yeah, we were studying about human anatomy. We started off. Aarti, can you go back a little? Quickly, we will just recap. Okay, so we started with various organ system, and today I thought I will do nervous system. Okay, so nervous system broadly two types, CNS and PNS, that is central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So now we are doing central nervous system. Central nervous system comprises of the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, go down a little, Aarti. Yeah. So it is brain and the spinal cord alone is central nervous system. Go down, go down. Let us not go to the peripheral nervous system yet. Yeah. So again, first the brain part. Brain part is divided into three. Upper part is cerebrum, lower part is cerebellum, and the stem part. Okay, we have three parts. First, we are going through cerebrum part. Cerebrum part is again divided into four: frontal lobe, parietal lobe, occipital lobe, and temporal. Okay, Revati? Yeah. So,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So, the frontal lobe is basically for movement, dance, running, eating. It's called as motor cortex. Okay, all motor-based activities, it is from the frontal lobe. Okay, one more thing. The brain is covered with three layers of, it's very thin like a tissue paper, that is called as meninges. Infection in that part is called as meningitis. Many times we talk about meningitis, no? So it is the covering of that brain which gets infected. There is a fluid and a thin covering which is called as meninges. That is what gets infected. That is meningitis. Okay. Then, of course, the skull is there. So the inside part of the brain, first is frontal lobe, which is responsible for the motor cortex, it is called as. It is responsible for movement, dancing or muscular movement, eating, walking, jumping, running, talking even, tongue also, everything. So that is the part which I think mostly you people will be dealing with, you're all dancers. So when you are dealing with teaching dance or movement or something, this is the part which gets exercised the most. Then parietal is somatosensory. Somatosensory means touch, anything. We feel the pain if somebody pinches us, or if we don't feel the pain. Sometimes that also happens. No, we pinch ourselves, we never feel the pain. We hit ourselves, we never feel that. We tickle ourselves, we don't feel that, right? That is because our brain already knows that we are only doing it. So that particular nerve never ignites. It never goes and tells the brain that somebody is tickling. I'm tickling myself, the brain will not even bother to go and inform the nerves which is connected. Okay. Then occipital is visual cortex, seeing, making sense of what we are seeing. Also, I was telling Aarti about how kids with autism. Revati, and just unmute yourself, please. You have
Yes,
been
Akka.
dealing with differently able neurodivergent kids for the past 1 year, right? Are you trained or you started off just like that?
I actually I started when I was very small. I learned Bharatanatyam under Dr. Ambika Kameshwar. So I used to see when she teaches for special children, and slowly I started handling with her. And then I did a certificate from Canada Institute, like in 2019, for special needs education. And then I joined officially with this Bridge Academy with Akka this a year before for the first one. Otherwise, it's fully an experience working with them. I also work with other NGOs for special needs children.
Okay. So you must be aware, no? Like you're working with them. So if a kid is autistic or if a kid is very sensitive to certain things, then how to handle them. What happens is sometimes I feel that those who are not experienced, they end up forcing that child. Like, no, you should go there, you should do this. The fact is, the child is sensitive to certain things. And once we get to know about it, we are able to deal with that child in a better way. So, mostly autistic kids are very sensitive to bright lights, too much of crowd, too much of noise. Okay, so when we are sending them to the stage, what we do is we actually keep cotton. We make sure too much noise doesn't enter the ear, and they are not exposed to too much of bright light. Those things disturbs them. It really makes them very irritated. So it is because of this visual cortex area only. And also the temporal lobe, which is responsible for the auditory cortex, sound. Okay, so they have this too much of nervous nerval impulse. It's very high for autistic kids. Occipital and temporal lobe, basically, for them, that is the area where they find it very difficult. Okay, so this covers the cerebrum part of the brain. Then we come down to the you go down, Revati. Sorry, no, Aarti. Cerebellum part. Okay, so cerebellum part, what happens is, it's here. Yeah, it is responsible for the posture and balance. Okay, so this is the area again. Dance is really helpful in that case. Kids with cerebral palsy, kids who don't have proper posture or balance, or they don't know how to, it happens, right, left side imbalance is there. They are not able to have the equal amount of pressure, or they don't know where to put the pressure, where not to put the pressure. So all these things happens because of cerebellum. Okay, so any kind of movement activity or dance really helps this part of the problem. Then the brain stem, the lower part. Brain stem is again divided into three: midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. Here there is only medulla oblongata. I thought I'll draw it and show it to you. So, see, pons is responsible for rhythm, cardiovascular movement, respiratory movement, all those things. It will be the, like, brain stem is there, top part is midbrain, second part is pons, and the third part will be medulla oblongata. So, pons is the one which is responsible for respiratory problems, cardiovascular problems, and rhythmic movement, all those things. Okay, and the third is medulla oblongata, which is responsible for all the involuntary movements that we do. Blinking of the eyes, coughing, vomiting. Okay, it's all involuntary. And if somebody is not able to do that, means it is because of the problem in medulla oblongata area. See, many a times kids, what happens is they are not able to, that reflex is not there. Instantly, we end up saying that, "Idu kuda theriyala, you don't even know this, you should not be doing this, move away, go away." But for that child, that particular reflex is not working. Okay, so the child has to develop it, the child has to exercise it, we have to be sensitive towards it, right? So this finishes the brain part: cerebrum, cerebellum, and brain stem. Then, okay, Now,
This
mm,
pons, this you said between the brainstem and the cerebellum.
yeah. Actually, let us say it's like a stick like this. Okay. So we are not going down. Down is the spinal cord. The top half, no, we will divide it into 1, 2, and 3. So the top part is midbrain. Okay. That is responsible for head and neck movement and all. The midbrain part.
These are parts of the brainstem itself.
Brain stem only. We have not come to the spinal cord.
Okay.
So head and neck, all the nerves that connects the head and neck, no, it is there in that midbrain part. Then the pons, that is respiratory and cardiovascular rhythmic movement, it is responsible for that. And the third is medulla oblongata, which is responsible for the any involuntary movement reflex, blinking, coughing, vomiting. Okay, when we touch the fire, we instantly remove our fingers, that kind of reflex. Okay, now again,
Small doubt. When some children, most of the children, why do they keep repeating the actions? If you see,
repetitive action, right?
they keep doing that.
Yes. Mostly it happens with autistic kids. Okay, so we'll come to the next one. I'll tell you why that happens. Okay, let me finish the top part. Just 1 minute. That cerebrum again has gray matter and white matter. Yes, you must be knowing, right? So gray matter is basically whatever information goes in. So just they make sense of it. Okay, decision making, thought process, behavioral pattern, everything is done on that gray matter. And the white matter, just back and forth of the information takes place in the white matter. White matter is not very much responsible for decision making or thinking or risk taking. All those things the white matter doesn't do. It is only the gray matter's job to do all those things. All right. Okay. Now, coming to how these things is affected in neurodivergent people. Okay. One by one, we will come. Maybe the first one is ADHD. Okay. You know what is ADHD, right? It is attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder. So, what happens in ADHD?
Kids are generally very hyperactive.
They are very hyper, yes. They are very, very hyper. And ADHD, they are also very repetitive. Many a times they keep repeating the same thing again and again and again. See, what happens is there is a neurotransmitter called as norepinephrine. That is what you call it as norepinephrine. So it is very less in kids with ADHD. So what happens? Apart from that, there are 4 levels of functional disorder in this. First is the cortex area. Cortex area is responsible for, I told you, frontal cortex is responsible for executing something, basically motor activities. So, organizing and executing any activity is done by the cortex area. So, in ADHD children, that area is impaired. Okay. Then there are few more. That is limbic system, basal ganglia. Basal ganglia is also responsible for impulsive behavior, repetitive behavior. Basal ganglia is the inner part of the brain. Okay. And then limbic system is responsible for emotions, attention span, all those things. That is also not organized properly. Then there is reticular activating system. You don't have to write all these things because I'm just telling you. But when you say no, so and problems are there, it is not just one part of the brain which is affected. There are 2-3 parts of the brain which has neural defects, because of which there is delay in the information processing. There is delay in how they react towards it, and in that short span where the information has to go in and they have to react, in between, they become so restless and they start repeating what they did earlier. So it's a very systematic procedure. It is not like just இப்படி ஆச்சு அப்படி ஆயிடுதுன்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. Okay. So for autistic brain, what happens is, see, you can go to that autism. What happens in autism? Aarti, can you go to that? Yeah. What is basically autism? What is autism?
I don't know much, but as far as I know, they don't have a good control over their actions.
See, typically autism is social developmental delay. Okay, their main problem is social development and repetitive behavior. They keep on repeating. If they get obsessed with something, they'll keep on doing it. If they are obsessed with cleanliness, they will keep on cleaning that particular area alone. It can be even a part of their own body. They will keep on scrubbing that area. They will keep on scrubbing that part of the table. It's a repetitive behavior. Okay. So, what happens in autism is this only. First of all, autistic brain develops very fast. More, development has to follow a particular pattern. So people with autism, their brain develops unusually rapidly. Okay. And because of this, the connectivity is very atypical. It is not very regulated. It is not very typical. It is not very structured. There are areas which are very sensitive. There are areas which is not touched at all. So that is what happens in autism. So now that you have studied basically how the brain functions and what are the parts of the brain, you can understand that what happens in autism. Okay, there are a lot of zigzag, crisscross kind of neural activities going on. Even for a small this thing, they get very perturbed with noise or light or touch or all those things. They are not able to socially cue themselves. They become very agitated when they are put in a crowded place, and they keep on doing repetitive behavior. So it is a behavioral issue, autism mainly. Okay. Then how will you relate cerebral palsy with the brain? What is cerebral palsy? What is cerebral palsy? Have you come across anybody? Have you come across anybody? Revati.
I'm just thinking.
Okay. No, Revati must be, you handled Akshara and Gauran?
Akshara
Yeah.
in Gaurin.
Ah.
Gaurin school I did, but I don't remember her face now. Akshara.
Okay. Akshara, she is generally sitting only. She is with the caretaker.
Yeah. Correct. Little
Hmm?
fair
You
girl.
remember?
She's
Yes, yes.
she sings also. Correct? She's
Pardon?
a singer. She sings also.
Yeah. She sings beautifully.
Mm.
Okay. So, she has cerebral palsy. So, cerebral palsy is basically it's a motor neuron defect. Nerve and motor
Motor.
coordination is yes. Nerve and motor coordination is not there. Okay, you will learn it. Obviously, you will learn it. But I'm just telling you the basically what it is, just the review I'm giving. It is motor and neural defect. So what happens is nerves and motor doesn't coordinate. Okay. So in that, it is the motor cortex, which is the frontal part I told, no? Frontal cortex area, that part is affected. So their coordination is not there. It can be, either hands are not proper or legs are not proper or one side of the body is not coordinated or both sides are not coordinated. It can be of any type, depends. Okay. So basically it is the motor cortex area of the brain, which is affected for CP children. So again, structured movement or dance, things like that really helps them. Then there is Down syndrome. I'm just giving you a prelude. You will have classes for that. I'm just giving you a prelude. See, Down syndrome, again, what happens is there is one extra chromosome. So one extra chromosome means all the organs, they will have to work extra. They will have to work in a different form, including the brain. So that puts in a lot of stress to all their organs, their endocrine system, their cardiovascular system, their respiratory system. Everything is affected because of that one extra chromosome in their body. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is I'm connecting the organ system with various issues like autism or Down syndrome or cerebral palsy. As and when you study, you can connect it too. I'm sure you'll study it. So whoever teaches you, you can connect it with this. Yeah.
So this Down syndrome, they look little. They all look same. It's
Yeah,
easily
they have a very characteristic feature they have.
rather than other things, we cannot immediately find them. So this Down syndrome is very easy to
Yes.
find their Down syndrome children, or because
Yeah,
they
they
have
have a very,
features,
yes,
fat.
yes.
That is correct.
Very true. See, once you get used to it, once you know, okay, this is normal and this is how Down syndrome children, then certainly you can find out, okay, this is a person with, this
But
is
their
that person
activity
with
is
Down
very
syndrome.
normal. They do everything on their own. Some of the
Yeah,
children, they are very good in handling their own daily activities.
yeah. See, I don't know because there is no set normalcy according to me. We are only setting that these things should be done to be considered as a normal person. But to be honest, each human being is different and we all have our own normalcy, right? So, from that perspective, if we say, Down syndrome is a perfectly normal person, their kind of activity and their normalcy may be different from ours, but nothing is abnormal or anything. They have their own strengths, they have their own weakness, they have their own, they are very smart. They are very smart actually. So, yes, Down syndrome, as I told you, they have some problems with their organs. Invariably, they will have problems in their endocrine system. They will have problem in their heart, that is cardiovascular system. So physically, they may have certain inabilities. But otherwise, they are very smart and they are very, very, I won't use that. Each person has a different normal. So they are very much like anybody else. Yeah. Okay. So when I say endocrine system, Down syndrome kids invariably will have thyroid problem, because of which they have weight issues. Either they are underweight or they are overweight. Okay, that restricts their movement. And they also have cardiovascular problem. Their heart problem is there, they have it. Because of that, they have breathing difficulty. They have, as they grow old, they have heart problems and all. Invariably, they have problem in their heart. So physically, they have certain problems. Otherwise, they are normal. Okay. You understood till here? Till what I have told you, I think, yes. Did you understand everything? Any doubts you have? See, your study material will have everything. So not an issue. I'm just telling you, just enjoy it and experience it. That's all. Neuron. What is a neuron? This is just for knowledge. I put it here because it's nice if we get to
Basic
know this.
element
Yeah.
of the nervous system.
This is the nerve cell. Okay, neuron is the nerve cell. So, what happens?
That helps you
Nerves.
to basically breathe and I think, I'm not sure. It helps you to be breathe and be active.
Transmitting of transmission, proper transmission of a message. Okay, so when we are transmitting a message, let us say passing the parcel game is there. So we will give the parcel from one person to the other person, second to third, third to fourth. That's how it goes, right? So nerve structure, neuron is also like that. Neuron is a nerve cell. So obviously there will be a nucleus. Then there will be a dendrite. Dendrite is like a hand, which we go on passing to one, to second, to third, to fourth, like that. Then see, you don't have to learn about myelin sheath and all. Axon is the one which connects to the next neuron. So one neuron, then stretch it and put it to the next neuron. The center part is called as axon. Okay. Then dendrite is, it transmits all the messages. So just remember this basic structure of neuron. So how message is transmitted. And there are two types of neurons. Aarti, you are there? Okay. Please go down, no? Yeah. So sensory neuron and motor neuron. So sensory neuron will take all the messages from central nervous system to all our organs, and motor neuron will take from all our internal organs to the brain. Brain is not the right term, it is CNS, because spinal cord is also equally responsible for transmitting all the messages, okay, just like brain. So both put together is CNS. Okay, see, when it comes to spinal cord, I didn't cover spinal cord, right? Okay, spinal cord, go up, no? Aarti, go further up.
You mean the beginning of the
The
document?
first few slides, yeah. Maybe, yeah, this one is okay. So the spinal cord, there is always nerve endings in both brain and spinal cord. So in the brain, we have mainly 12 nerve endings. Okay. And in the spinal cord, we have almost 31 nerves, 31 nerve ending. So it is like this, they will be the one who will be taking the information and giving the information back. Okay, they are the main takers and givers kind of. So brain has only 12 set of nerves. They are called as cranial nerves, while the spinal cord has 31 set of nerves. Okay, that is why spinal cord is important, because it has more nerve endings than the brain. That is the one which actually passes on the information to the brain. More than the brain getting itself, it is the spinal cord which passes on the message to the brain. So the role of spinal cord is basically to pass on the message. Brain will do the further processing. It's like a processor, okay, CPU. But passing on is done by the spinal cord. That is the role of spinal cord. Yeah, you can go down. You can go to the peripheral nervous system. Actually, in the beginning, second slide, Yeah. See, peripheral nervous system. So here, this is where we have the nerve endings. Okay, all the nerve endings, as well as the nerves that goes to the entire body. That is peripheral nervous system. It is of two types again: autonomous nervous system and somatic nervous system. Again, autonomic is divided into parasympathetic and sympathetic. Okay, you don't have to really get into the words and all. See, I'll tell you basically what it is. That is enough. So PNS, see, nervous system is divided into CNS and PNS. Again, PNS is divided into ANS and SNS. And further, autonomic nervous system is parasympathetic and sympathetic. Go down. Go to the PNS part. Yeah. I don't know whether you can expand it. Maybe in your screen you can do it. Yeah. So the nerve endings are there. You don't have to.
Can you give me a moment? I'll maybe download and then I'll be able to.
No. Leave it. Maybe in your screen, if you want, you don't have to go so much into details at all.
Okay.
Because I just put it there for you to have an idea. So if you want, you can expand it in your screen itself, both Revati and Arati. Otherwise, leave it. Okay.
No,
So
can't have it because we are sharing the screen.
no.
Yeah. Okay. I can expand. Yes. I thought I'll have to. Yeah, this is better.
Yes. So you have 12 nerve endings, that is cranial nerve, brain nerve, then spinal nerve, you have 31 nerve ending. So again, spinal nerve, 8 from the cervical, 12 from the thoracic. You don't have to get into that much details at all. Don't worry. I'm just putting it for you to understand. Okay. Go down. Next one. So, autonomic and somatic. What is this basically? This is very important. It's better we understand this. Autonomic nervous system is the one which controls all it is automatic. Okay, automatically muscles that are working. That is controlled by autonomic nervous system. What are the automatically working muscles of our body? Involuntary.
Heart, breathing, heartbeat.
Yeah. All the internal organs, they all are controlled by ANS. Cardiac muscle, digestive muscles, or kidney, liver, abdominal muscles, respiratory, lungs, contraction, expansion. Everything is happening automatically. We are not working for it. We are not aware of it at all. Okay. So it goes on day or night, it goes on automatically. That is controlled by the ANS. Second one is somatic. Somatic is voluntary nervous system. So voluntary nervous system, where will we have them?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have a newborn baby.
I know. Yeah.
I have to feed her, but I will just close the video.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
do
yeah.
the class.
Yeah,
I also
yeah.
informed Purna about it.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah, sure.
But I'll be there in the class. I'll be listening.
Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah. So, somatic nervous system is voluntary nervous system. Our hands, legs, okay. We are smiling, our cheek muscles. Everything that we are doing on our own is controlled by SNS. Why I'm saying this, again, we have kids who are not able to move properly, who will have motor disability problems and all. So it is because of their somatic nervous system. Okay, their autonomic nervous system is not at all affected. They are fit and fine. They are able to eat food. They are able to digest. They are able to excrete. They are able to do everything, breathing and circulation and filtration. Everything is going on perfectly fine. Because many people, they have this doubt that how is it? Very often teachers say this, no, சாப்பிட மட்டும் தெரியறது, homework மட்டும் பண்ணல. You are doing everything else, but you are not doing this. So basically, scientifically, that is something we will do. Okay, that doesn't require our voluntary movement at all. But voluntarily, what we want to do, if we don't feel like doing it, we will not do. See, kids one day, if they don't want to do certain things, they won't do. It is because their somatic nervous system is not ready to do all those things. But automatically, ANS will keep on working. Okay, that is the whole thing. So, again, how can you relate this to special children, differently abled or neurodivergent children? Let us say for kids with cerebral palsy, that is the motor impair. Okay, so what happens to their autonomic nervous system?
That works, but the somatic
Doesn't work. Huh? See, there is one more thing. Again, I think it was there in the beginning also. This autonomic nervous system is again divided into two, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Okay. So when we say sympathetic means all calming things, you know, digesting food or resting and digesting. Everything that our body needs to, when we do meditation or when we feel very relaxed, very calm, very contented, very, I'm feeling very good. We often say that, no, it is because of the parasympathetic division of the nerve. Okay. On the contrary, sympathetic division is always, it's a fight or flight mode is there, right? When we are always prepared to do something, we are in the state of motion, we are very stressed out. That is when that comes into action. How it affects our heart rate goes up. Okay, suddenly when we are very stressed, that is the reason why our heart rate will go up, our blood pressure will go up. We will start feeling very yeah. So, yes, there are so many videos nowadays. If you go to YouTube or Instagram, so they will be like how to activate your parasympathetic division, how to activate your sympathetic division. No, we don't need to activate, it's already active. So, how to balance the parasympathetic and sympathetic thing. It should not be more, it should not be less. It's very important that we keep both of them at equilibrium.
So when we say activate the parasympathetic nervous system means to bring the body to rest and relax.
Yeah. Okay, calming down the body.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is why we do, meditation, yogasana, we do so many music is there. Very often nowadays, it's a very common thing that there is no equilibrium between these two division of the nerve at all. So we have to work towards it. That is something. Okay, so what happens in CP? CP is again motor disability. So it is the autonomic nervous system which is affected. Okay.
So in cerebral vaccine.
No, there is no, sorry. It is the somatic nervous system which is affected. Yeah. Somatic nervous system which is affected. Okay. And what else happens in CP with regards to this? There is also sympathetic and parasympathetic imbalance is also there. That is also there. That is actually there in all cases. When kids get very angry, they become very restless, they start throwing things, they start shouting. There is this imbalance is there. Okay. Then Down syndrome. What happens? Down syndrome is one extra chromosome. So what happens to the autonomic and sympathetic and parasympathetic thing? Can you relate to it? What is actually affected? In Down syndrome, autonomic nervous system is affected. In CP, somatic nervous system is affected. In Down syndrome, autonomic nervous system is affected. Because I told you, there is an extra chromosome.
Yeah.
So there is imbalance. They have heart problems. They have respiratory issues. They have endocrinal issues because of this nervous system. Okay. And in autism is networking defect. They have very fast networking, neural networking. See, I was talking about cranial nerves, right? So cranial nerve, it is there are 12 cranial nerves. One in the end is vagus nerve, vagal nerve. Have you heard of vagus nerves? It is also there. Lots and lots of materials are coming out regarding vagus nervous system. How to activate the vagus nerve. VAGAS. See, vagus nerve is the nerve which is responsible for adjustment, tolerance, patience. Okay. So, in people with autism is a spectrum disorder. We cannot point out that only this person is autistic, only that person is autistic. It's a huge umbrella term. 1 in every 4 person is autistic. Okay. So some form or other, they will have socially, they will have repetitive behavioral problems. Something will be there. Okay. So in people with autism, they invariably have something called as rigid nervous system. Okay. So their vagus nerve or vagal nerve doesn't work up to the point at all, because of which they have lot of issues adjusting to many other things. So vagus nerve is very rigid for people with autism. They have issues related to tolerance and adjustment. Yeah, that's it. So PNS is basically, is there anything under? I think that's it. See, we often injure our back, right? So what happens is one of this nerve, when we say, dislocated disc or back or something, what is it that happens? See, any idea what happens when we say
Slip disc.
dislocation? Yes,
So
slip
it's
disc
this,
or dislocation.
because there are discs that are arranged in the spinal cord. So one of them is out of its usual place. It probably hurts some nerves, presses an extra nerve.
Yes. So it presses the nerve. That point is very, very sensitive. There are so many nerves there. So it presses the nerve because of which pain is there. Okay. And especially the nerve in the bottom of the spinal cord is responsible for pain management and all. So that nerve itself is getting pressed and there is excruciating pain because of that. That actually comes in the lumbar or sacral region, the lower part of the back. See, this autonomic nervous system, when we say cranial, okay, there are 12 cranial and 31 spinal. So, number, what can I say? It can be anything. See, number 5, number 7, number 9, number 10 will all be parasympathetic. The same time, number, I think 2, 4, all those things are sympathetic. You don't have to learn all those things, but they are all mixed up. That's what I'm trying to say. They are, go to that cranial nerve part, no, Aarti. Yeah. So here, okay, if you see, they are all mixed up. You don't have to learn that much, but that is the reason why one may be parasympathetic, one may be sympathetic, one may be they will have motor. They will have motor neurons. They will have sensory neurons. So it's a very medical thing. Only doctors need to know this. But yeah, that is how it is divided here. Okay. So you have any doubts? You want to ask something?
Some children, they cannot, for me, when I have handled, they all are accessible mostly. Very few children, they cannot sit straight, or they sit like this. They will not sit straight. They cannot sit straight. They have the one side of the body goes to the chair when they sit. So for these people, for these children, we give movements for the hands. If we make them, if we push them to stand and things like that, is it safe, or it's better to keep them in their own position and do only the movements with head and hands is enough?
Yeah, it's better to keep them in their position itself. We should not force them to do something which they are not comfortable with.
Okay.
See, if they are doing proper movement and proper therapy and all, automatically after a few sessions, they should be able to get up and they should be able to. So, in the beginning itself, we should never force them to get up and do things. We should not do that.
Okay.
See, what happens is slowly, if we keep giving them, as you said, no hand movement, neck movement, and all, it will strengthen their muscles. And after 6 months, 8 months, whatever, they will be able to get up and they will be able to do it automatically. So there is no need for us to pressurize them and do things now. Anything else?
So totally like Down syndrome, we have how many, there are different types of disabilities. No? Like we have Down syndrome, we have MR, like that. So we have a chart, it exactly says what kind of, for example, like Down syndrome, how you showed us the chromosomes are high.
No, see, and the thing is, Revati, mostly it is multiple disorder. It is not one thing.
Okay.
Okay. For Down syndrome, we can say there is one extra chromosome. But for CP and all, invariably there is also MR associated. So MR is mental retardation. So it is never that particular, it will obviously happen because uh, one particular organ is not working efficiently, then automatically other developmental delay will happen, no? So over the period of time, they will have other developmental issues also. So it is never that a child comes up with just one problem. It is always multiple disorder. Okay. So it is not like we cannot even use the term MR actually. I don't know. It is just differently intellectual disability or differently abled like that. Because MR is a
Actually, the
very,
term retarded, no? Retarded is such a
yeah,
derogatory term. So now they
exactly.
stopped using that term and they
Hmm.
call it as intellectual disability. Even in the disability, even in the government also, now they've changed it to intellectual disability, learning disability for dyslexia and slow learners, which is a learning disability, and the spectrum, autism spectrum disorder, that is for autism. And Down syndrome comes under intellectual disability.
Yeah, that's what,
Even
see
when we
what
did our
happened.
project and all, it came under intellectual disability, Down syndrome.
Okay, okay. So yeah, as rightly said, no, MR is, we don't even use that nowadays. How can we even see, it is just a developmental delay or disorder, that's all. So we don't generally associate MR with so and so, and we don't even use that term anymore. And invariably, it is more than one issues that troubles a child. What is learning disability?
Sorry?
No, not to you,
Oh,
Purna. I'm
with
just
them.
asking
Okay.
them. Yeah. What is learning disability?
Like dyslexia, when the child finds it difficult to understand the alphabets and numbers.
What is dyslexia?
I mean, where the child finds it difficult to understand the alphabets and numbers and put arrows everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then what else? What else learning disability is there? What else learning disability is there? Dyslexia is just one thing. There are more. There is something called as dyscalculia. Actually, dyscalculia is more common than dyslexia. What is dyscalculia? Dyscalculia is with
Dyscalculia. What
Hmm.
can you please spell, ma'am?
CDYS. DYS. Then calculia. What is calculia? Calculus. Maths. Maths. So it is actually more common than dyslexia. Okay. All of us at some, I would say most of us in those days had dyscalculia. We often say this, no, that I cannot do maths, maths வரமாட்டேங்கிறது அப்படின்ட்டு maths nowadays though, like it's such a common thing. Even CBSE has started 2 levels of mathematics from 9th standard onwards, because it is not possible for everyone to do that applied maths at all. So they have started basic maths also. The kid can take boards using basic maths. Okay, the child need not study all those application-oriented things, trigonometry and all. Just basics, linear equations and factorization is enough. Algebra is enough. So basically, dyscalculia is learning disorder, ability of perceiving numbers is not there. Let me put it this way. See, இப்ப வந்து கடைக்கு போறோம். டக்குன்னு if we are buying something for let us say 63 rupees and we are giving 100 rupees to the shopkeeper. So there are people who are instantly able to say, okay, I need so much return. But there are people who are so confused and perplexed. எவ்வளோ ரிட்டர்ன் வரணும், எவ்வளோ மீதி வரணும், அவளால கண்டே பிடிக்க முடியாது. They get so restless. It is simply because they are not able to think in terms of money. Okay, they are not able to think in terms of number. Whenever that number thing comes into their brain, no, they become very restless. Just imagine asking them to do a higher level of mathematics and all is very, very tough. So many kids have dyscalculia now, and CBSE has exemption process also. We can exempt ourselves from maths if we want. And they have 2 levels of mathematics also from 9th standard itself. If we want, we can drop it and we can take basic level of mathematics also. So that is dyscalculia. When I say dyscalculia, it is applicable to everything, not just maths. Physics, chemistry, Sanskrit, anything which is logic based. Okay, so that part of the brain is not well developed. So they are not able to perceive things accordingly. And when it is dyslexia, it is left side of the brain. Left lobe, right lobe is there. No? So left side of the brain is not, the neurons are not that sharp. Dyscalculia, it is the logical side. There is also one thing called as dysgraphia. In our education system, we don't have much, much of dysgraphia problem, but that is also there. Dysgraphia is when we are not able to perceive images, pictures in our brain. That is called as dysgraphia. So invariably, when we have kids with autism, they have dyslexia or dyscalculia or both of them. Even with Down syndrome and even with Down syndrome, they have dyslexia and dyscalculia.
You said the logical side of the brain, that is the right side.
Yeah. They are all neurodivergent people. Okay. So they have different, instead they have dyscalculia kids are very good with sometimes, okay, they are very good with letters. So when right side is not that good, their left side is extremely good. Sometimes that also happens. You have any other doubt? So tomorrow we will try to see other systems, circulatory, respiratory, mainly. Okay, they are the ones which we need to know. Muscular. Okay, these things we will just touch upon them. So yeah, that's it. So the brain part, if go through it, if you have any doubts, you can ask tomorrow. In the meantime, that's it. Okay, for tomorrow we will do this circulatory, respiratory, muscular. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we leave now?
Yeah, and then I'll ask Purna. Purna?
So this graphia has any particular part of the brain associated?
Creative side only. Creative side of the brain only is affected.
Creative side means which?
Left.
Left.
Okay, Purna, are you there? I think she's not there. We are done for today. I think you can leave. Revati and Aarti. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.